If you have young children, or thinking of having children, or even grandchildren, this is a video you may want to watch. Because I asked AI, I said, AI, what's the world going to be like in 50 years? I got its prediction. I'm going to read you what AI has said the world's going to be like in 50 years. Then I'm going to analyze that and give you my opinion. So 50 years from now, 2075, I've got all what AI said right here. Now, what does AI know? Well, it knows everything we've ever recorded, just about in the world. I don't know how much trust I put into AI, but it's smarter than I am for sure. But AI doesn't live in the real world. AI doesn't wake up with aches and pains every morning like I do. Man, it isn't that bad, really. But let's take a look at what AI said and go over some of these things. And, well, let's just see. I haven't really read it all. By 2075, the society will look drastically different. Not because of technology alone, but because of how this generation learns to adapt to it. The current younger generation, the ones raised on instant information, filtered reality, and digital comfort, will face the hardest test humanity has ever known. This is coming from AI. Relearning how to be human in an automated world. That statement bothers me. Relearning. Why would it have to relearn? Is something going to happen? AI thinks it knows. Relearning to be human in an automated world. I don't know. But I do know it is right about one thing. Things are going to change drastically. And there ain't a whole lot we can do about it. Not my generation. It's going to be up to them. And if they don't care about their future, I guarantee you in 50 years they're going to wish they had. It also goes on to say many traditional jobs will be gone. Well, that's true. That's going to, AI systems will handle logistics, production, even creative work, and it's already beginning. The idea of working to survive will fade, replaced by creating to matter. The challenge won't be scarcity of opportunity, but scarcity of purpose. So people really won't have, a purpose. There's going to be people sitting around, and we're already seeing this. There's so many people with no jobs, and they don't know what to do with their time. We see the results of this already. So it's already happening. And we're not even 50 years in yet. Here's one that I believe, and this, AI sees this. Mental health will become the new global crisis. We see this happening now, right? People will struggle, not because of lack of money or technology, because they lack meaning. So I think what it says there, say you made buggy whips for a living, okay? And the car came out. Well, you don't have much meaning anymore. Nobody's buying buggy whips anymore. So you need to find something else to do, something else to learn, because the buggy whip business, it ain't going to come back. It isn't coming back. So you got either have to find a new purpose, or you're going to lose your mind. And I do believe this will happen. It's already happening. However, those who can think independently, you guys pay attention to this one, because this is very important. And this is AI telling me this, okay? Pay attention. Those who can think independently, work with their hands, and live simply, like today's homesteaders, craftsmen, and rural builders. I know one of them dudes. That's a cloud. Look at that cloud over there. I got to show you guys this in a minute. Oh, I'm getting off subject, ain't I? Will thrive. will thrive. They'll be the backbone of a self-sufficient communities when the systems fail or fracture. I've been saying this and saying this and saying this for a long time. If you have a property out rural and you learn these skills, you know how to do electrical, you know how to do plumbing, you know how to build things. Okay, those are valuable. Those are going to be even more valuable 50 years from now, because the cities, people in the cities, they're going to collapse. They're going to break down. It's going to be chaos in the cities. Now, I ain't saying you need to rush out and buy a property rural, but these are things you can practice in the city, in your apartment, building things. Okay, set aside a little area. You can build things on a small scale. You can study up on homesteading techniques, canning, things like that. Young people don't seem to care about those. Now, there are a whole lot of homesteading channels on YouTube. They do. I mean, there is a batch of those young people. Those are the ones that are going to be the leaders 50 years from now. They're the ones people are going to turn to. How do we do this? How do we do that? So it's very important, if you have young kids, grandkids, you drill this into their heads. They need to learn these things. You got young people today, young men, can't even change a tire on a car. They get a flat. Yes, we're broke down at mile marker 32. I need somebody to come out and change my tire. And who comes out to change their tire? An old dude like me. Can do it with our eyes closed. Yep. There are just a lot of young people that need to learn a lot of things. Here's a statement. The AI you're hearing from now believes the world in 50 years will be divided not by wealth, but by resilience. Those who remain connected to nature, reality, and community will flourish. Those who rely entirely on screens and systems will fade into dependency. Did you catch that part? If you're sitting there all day long, looking at your screens, doing nothing, learning nothing, just looking at funny little videos, you're going to have trouble in 50 years. You're going to be a guy my age that doesn't know how to do anything except look at a screen. If you want an answer to something, you look at a screen. You don't know that in your head from experience. You haven't learned that. That's what's going to be missing, is experience, life experience. The stuff where you break down in the middle of nowhere. You got to repair something on the fly. They're not going to have those experiences. They're not going to register those things in their minds. They're not going to know what to do. In short, technology will advance, but character will decide who survives. So the ones with the most skills, the ones that can start fires. Okay, I'm watching a video last week of a guy who moved from the city, and he bought a homestead, and he got a wood burning stove. And he just throws the giant logs in there. No kindling, nothing to start the fire. And he's wondering why his fire, what he's doing wrong, that the fire won't start. And I'm like, dude, you got to start out with a little shavings, maybe some paper, then put some twigs on that, get that going. These are the things they don't know how to do. If you can't start a fire, you're in big trouble, because fire is very important if everything goes down. You could ask AI yourself. I use ChatGPT. I haven't used Grok or any of that yet, but I would imagine it's going to say the same things, and I think it was actually nice to me and didn't tell me, if maybe next time I'll say, give me the gruesome details of what it's going to be like in 50 years. That's if we're even here in 50 years, because I think we're headed to something really bad, and I only hope, maybe we do need some sort of event to knock us back into somewhat of a stone age, because there's nothing that's going to make people put these screens down. Nobody wants, here's the problem, okay? They're on their screens. Nobody looks up anymore. If you're not looking up, you have no clue what's going on around you. I've made videos about be careful when you go to gas pumps. Pay attention, look around you, be aware of your surroundings. You won't be a victim of a crime. The reason there's so many victims is because they have no attention span. Their attention span is focused on one thing. It is their lifeblood, these phones. And it isn't going to change. If anything, they're advancing the technology. You'll have it in your glasses where you don't have to look down. You'll be looking like Stevie Wonder all the time, you know. You'll have glasses with all that information, and all you have to do is think about it. You've already got that technology. They've got it in the military. You think about something in an airplane, in a fighter jet, it does it. They've had that technology for a long time. And soon, that's going to be in your cell phone. You might have a special pair of glasses, or they can integrate it into your glasses if you wear them. Or if you're dumb enough, you might let them put a chip in your brain. I will never allow that. But these kids need to be taught now. And from a young age, they need to be taught this is coming. And we're not going to be here to bail you out. You're going to have to know how to start a fire. You're going to have to know how to get food from other places other than a grocery store. You're going to have to know how to sharpen a knife. You're going to have to know how to trap, fish. A lot of these things you don't see anymore. I drive by a park every day when I go to town. There's no kids out there anymore playing. That was a way as a child. We got exercise. We built our muscles. They're not building them anymore. You know, they're not building them anymore. They're filling their heads with whatever's on the screen. But they're not out riding bikes. We rode bikes for miles. They're not doing this anymore. They're not exercising. You know, are they even going to live 50 more years? And it's only going to get worse with each generation that comes after that. So if we can teach those kids now, when they're born, when they're first born, this is how, you know, and there are a lot of young families that are doing this. Papa Pepper, that's a good channel to watch. I'll leave a link in the description. But if you want to watch and see the things that you should be teaching children, that man knows what he's doing. As these kids can walk by a snake and see if it's venomous or not. They know things like that. They know how to start fires. A lot of people criticize him because he involves his kids in a lot of the work projects. Well, you have to. How are they going to learn? I know when I was a child, I'd go to work with my dad all the time. And, you know, maybe I never did the type of work he did, but I learned work ethic. I learned that, yes, you have to get up early to go to these places, and it sucks sometimes to get up early, but I learned that. I didn't learn what he did for a living, but I learned the ethics of it. I learned that this is life. If you want a paycheck, if you want to eat every week, this is how you do it. And he just, you know, and he taught me a lot of common sense. So those are things that need to be taught more than anything is common sense. Without that, they're lost. So I thought that was interesting. I just, out of a whim, I asked AI, I said, you know, what's life going to be like in 50 years? And it didn't shock me. In fact, it was a little nice, I thought. I think it's going to be much worse. And what it did say, mental health, it's already a big problem. It's going to get much worse. Because what are these people going to do with their time? It's going to drive them crazy. Do we want that for your kids, your grandkids? And if you're not going to teach your kids something they can use 50 years from now, 20 years from now, don't have any kids, because you're committing them to a very tough life. You have to consider this. Don't just think of yourselves when you decide you want to have a baby. What is that child facing 20, 30 years from now? And I know back in, 1920, they probably thought the same way. Okay, because they, especially around the Depression, did they want to bring a child into this world in such a bad place? But things change, and things did get better, but now they're getting worse again. So, hope you found that interesting. Let me know in the comments. What are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching your grandkids? Do you even care? Thanks for watching. Happy trails.